My name is Erica Lorraine Spencer, and I remain subject to state surveillance and terrorism by the state of California that is operating a malicious targeting system which is referred to as federal group stalking and monitoring via communication devices. And it is in violation of federal stalking statute 18 U.S.C. sections 2261A subsections 1 and 2. My website and podcast serve the public good by publishing evidence of the public entity's ceaseless engagement in a pattern of conduct intended to stalk and monitor via communication devices, surveil, harass, and terrorize an American citizen in concert with the people of the state of California. Documentation serves the lawful purposes of wide exposure, federal prosecution, and influencing federal legislation with policies specifically designed to punish, dismantle, and disincentivize an unprecedented targeting system by a public entity that acts in concert with the people of the state in order to criminally place under surveillance and terrorize an American citizen, which is a matter of public corruption in the state of California. See the patternofconduct.wordpress.com. 6 NRA 319 and pest control is over also at Starbucks at 570 North Euclid Avenue monitoring. Directed light, as you can hear, this third party is monitoring as well. Directed light moving all across the drive-through concrete wall around, which is directed light around the vicinity where I'm at. This is Starbucks monitoring. 22196E3, 8ZSR060 engaged in surveillance, sitting in their vehicle in alignment to the drive-through window, monitoring while this directed light is moving across the surfaces. You got Jasmine at the window. She's monitoring. Jasmine works at Starbucks. She's a third party. Starbucks engaged in heavily documented this particular one as well. Engaged in monitoring. She's in relevant position, and she's monitoring with the people of the state that are in Starbucks drive-thru and Starbucks parking lot, and in relevant position to Starbucks Unicare Community Health Centers monitoring. And let me be clear, the reality is that these demons are monitoring as they are driving onto the property. They are driving up to Starbucks, aware of where I'm at, and engaged in ongoing group stalking as I'm documenting it. This is P.O.C. License 8ZNV644. It is currently 8:25 a.m. on Friday, July 22nd, 2022. This is P.O.C. I've already documented the presence of the fake sun where I've remained at this Starbucks just to remind you. The same place. To the at the same exact Starbucks. 8WWL338, 8FWFO. Oh, I can't really say that. You can scratch that one. At this same Starbucks at 4 or 5 o'clock in the evening, the entity keeping a fake sun all day long over that Starbucks, and let alone over the Family Community Library, which is on the same street. This is speaking to the pattern of conduct. Just as a reminder, I've already fully documented this, but it is 8:26 a.m. on Friday, July 22nd, 2022. This is group stalking that's underway at that Starbucks, which represents a facilitating venue of the people of the state. And it is or at Euclid and D Street. So this is where the U.S. Bank is at 333 North Euclid, 4HSD 029 7RAB878. They're molesting while I am sitting in the vehicle, and movement of a cell phone is somehow resulting in what is touching all over me with directed light. All right, and you can hear operation of that cell phone. That's that third party engaging that. Coach U.S.A. And the third party here on the phone is monitoring on a communication device with her. 980K119, 8MGX299. Yep. And this is the third party that was at Ontario Mills, where you saw the Ontario Police Department flying over Ontario Mills. I said it's Friday. That's a P.O.C. 8NJW052, directed light moving inside of the vehicle while these minions are in traffic.
Oh, that's right.
Yep.
It's Friday.
And this is the ordinary conduct of demons. 5GTY685.
You didn't go to Morongo.
8BO4605. Directed light in the car while they're driving around the vehicle outside.
Yep.
Morongo was trying to burn up all my gas.
And this casual, humorous conversation is audible activity while this directed light is around me. The fake sun is over me. And this is the ordinary conduct of the demon possessed. It's demonic activity. Again, it's currently 8:27 a.m.
That's fine.
8VCW666 and Omnitrans, of course, creating light activity. 2858483. Omnitrans at the Shiro's Liquor. B&G Plaza bus stop.
For me, though, brother.
It's bus
I'm flying all
1265.
over the place.
9BT and 075 group stalking with light in alignment as she enters the shopping plaza driveway. And the fake sign moves from being over Starbucks directly over the vehicle all the way en route to the B&G Plaza. 88PD 920 7HCY019 4NHR 777
Yep.
6WDN 231. This is P.O.C.
Let's go.
Hi, how are you?
The auto bag. The big one.
How many? One?
$10 worth. That's fine.
Good luck. Does that came back?
Yeah.
They're monitoring together. Direct the light inside of the liquor store. Get that one's license plate. He's on surveillance cameras as well. It's license 8XAL439. You hear these minions' casual conversations, what you hear in the car while she's monitoring with her friend Dan. Demons. The same thing's going on. They're all monitoring. And this is the entity monitoring while you're documenting. It's directed light by that third party that now exits the parking lot with knowledge of the fact that they're being documented. That's. Am I waiting on something?
No, you're not waiting on something.
You said you were going to show me something on camera.
If you want to see, you give me $125. $25? You want to see that?
Sure, I'm missing a whole quarter then it would
If you give me $125.
No, I gave you 150, but
Okay.
you're stating that
Hold on, I want to show you right now.
That's what I thought I was waiting for.
You thought.
That you said you were going to show me that. That's why I'm standing here. I'm not just standing in here for no reason.
Slide the card.
All right, and again, this is not about 25 cents. This is about an entity that's monitoring and then engaging with a theft of property instead of just admitting it and giving what I asked for. Is engaging with his ongoing monitoring. This is harassment while directed light flashes inside of the store and then not showing what you said you were going to show me. This is why I'm standing here. All right, this is being caught in a lie, basically. Over 25 cents.
Oh,
Give me that. No, medium.
medium? For 30. Oh.
We got another demon entering. Remember, they've got direct light across the liquor store. What do you think they're all doing? They're all group stalking. There you go.
See? Only dollar and quarter.
Those are 2 quarters.
This 1 quarter.
That's 2 quarters.
That's
Let me
one
see.
quarter.
No, that's fine. Can you rewind it to where you put it, where I put it on the counter? That's 2 quarters. So I can see 2 quarters. I don't see how you don't see 2 quarters.
I'm
I
not
see-
seeing.
I can
I'm
see
the
2
one
quarters.
touch it and I put it on the cash register.
No, that's fine. Can I see it in motion when I put it on the counter?
You put them and you took the.
Yeah. Can you go back to where I put it
Hold
on
on,
the counter?
hold on. I'll take them right now. Only dollar and quarter, and I say why she just left dollar and quarter. Usually 135, but you left dollar and quarter, 125.
So you're saying I didn't even give you enough to pay for that, right?
I take it, but you didn't give me $1.50. That's what I'm telling you.
I just saw the 2 quarters on the counter. But okay.
Okay, I want to see it from this one here. Hold on.
No, it's 25 cents. It's not a big deal, and I've dealt with you
Well,
before.
no,
I'm
that's big
actually
deal for
your
me,
other
actually.
employee. He's the one that's pretty rude and disrespectful. But I am surprised with you.
No, I wanna
It's
show
20.
you-
It's not a
Hold
big
on,
deal.
hold
You do understand it's
hold
just a
on.
quarter, right?
I want to show you. You give me just 125. You know.
I know what I go ahead. I know what I gave you because it was money that was put in my hand, and I put it
That's what you know, but
right
I
on
want
the
to show you
corner.
on the camera what you left. Hold on.
Then that means a quarter just
I have
evaporated.
this one right
It just dissolved into the universe.
The 1054.
Yeah, of course. They use that.
Yeah, so you have it when I put it on the counter, right?
Hello, you got to show when you put on. It's taking like 1 minute.
Okay.
Around
Does it blind?
Yeah. Should be right now. What's up, bro?
You want to go ahead and take the thing? Just looking at relevant positioning inside of the liquor store. Demons group stocking at the liquor store. Everything that they're doing and saying is about me. They're monitoring. They're under a first son, and as I documented, the other third-party directed light across the liquor, which you can see in the images, that liquor is where flashing directed light was occurring, impossible light activity. So these demons' conversation is audible activity and relevant positioning. And while I remain in here, subject to what is the disappearance of a quarter, all right, to pay for merchandise, which I overpaid for, did not get changed. And stating that I just outright didn't give that amount of money. All right, this is a failure to mistake me for not paying attention when I am paying attention. And so now I'm looking for waiting to see it on camera, which I already saw, to the 50 cent. Alrighty.
See? Just one quarter you take, but
Look. Can you zoom in? Oh. That's the...
only one quarter.
No, that's 2 quarters.
Only one
But that's
quarter.
no, that's 2 quarters. She gave me 50 cents. This is P.O.C. So, but nonetheless, I dropped 250. I'm excuse me, 150. There were 2 quarters there.
I
but
still
my
have
point,
16 cameras to this side.
That's great.
If you wanna, I show you.
No, that's wonderful.
I show you which one. It's 125. I brought in the jewel. It's
Right.
$1.25.
So you accepted less than the amount due for the
For
merchandise
you,
that I
say
put.
it's fine.
Oh, okay.
That's what I'm saying.
Oh, okay. That's why you took less than the price of it. Got it. Okay. Understood. This is P.O.C. Alrighty. It is currently 8:46 a.m. I want to be clear. So this is $1.50 that I dropped on the, and this is again big picture. It's not about the amount of money. In the same way, like I stated before, the entity that stole my property, it doesn't matter if it was a teddy bear and a kitty blanket that they stole. It's the state that's stealing your property, and it's the state that's harassing you while you're documenting it, okay? And while he is in here showing me waiting, 8 U.S. and 224, while I'm in there waiting for him to show me camera of what is 2 quarters and $1 that I drop on his counter, and he's like, you see 1 quarter, and it's 2 quarters. It's 2 quarters. The entity is aiming direct at light, and this is exactly what he's engaging in. That's why the airport is using planes flying over under the fake sun. That third party who you can see on camera engaging in what is harassment and terrorism inside of his liquor store, which is the unlawful use of a business to engage in state surveillance, as you hear with the Ontario International Airport that's flying over his business, where the fake sun is over his business, where directed light is occurring, terrorizing me inside of his business, where the people of the state are entering inside of his business to engage in criminal activity as the state, on behalf of the state. His license plate is 6NPW 544. He engaged in what is theft of my property today, my money. All right, and then showing me on camera what is the total amount of money that I gave him, which was $1.50. He's stating, oh, that's just 1 quarter. It's not 2 quarters. So in other words, stating in order to pay for the merchandise, which was a total of $135, I only gave him $125, but he took it, didn't say anything because I'm special. So that's why he let me complete my purchase of his merchandise, which is $1.35. So he's stating I only gave him $1.25 to pay for something that's $135. And he took it because it's special, when in reality, I gave him $1.50 for something that was $1.35. All right. And I walked away to go get something else that I was going to buy. I was going to come back and get my change. I noticed third party doesn't give me my change. Oh, that's fine, because it's not a big deal. It's just 15 cents. But and since you're keeping my change, I didn't say all this. I said, can you do me a favor and switch this merchandise that costs $135 for that merchandise that costs $150? Since I noticed he did not give me my change. My change was not sitting on the counter. That's what all of this is precipitating from. This is the state, in other words, by the way, that is still monitoring. So while I'm in there and he is pulling up on his communication device, he's in the operation of a communication device, directed light is flashing across his the wall of liquor that's behind him, and you can see him in the images that I captured. That's where directed light is flashing all around, which is where the Ontario International Airport is stalking with airplanes, hovering as though planes are taking off over the Charles liquor. It's not. The airport is stalking, and this entity that is stalking engaged in theft of property today, and mistaken again for my not paying attention. That's what you thought. You thought I wasn't paying attention because I didn't say immediately, or because I didn't stand there and wait for you to give me my 15 cents, under which, be clear, if I had done that, there would be no debate about how much money I dropped on the counter. I put $1.50 down. I could have stood there and wait for my 15 cents, but I just went to go grab some chips, buy something else real quick, and I'm gonna come back. And that's all that's about. I don't care about 25 cents. I don't even care about being in this liquor store, about buying anything here. This is all a matter of what is temporary circumstance, because I'm going to prosecute them. That was the P.O.C. that occurred. While I'm in there, demons walking in, you hear them, oh, yeah, what's up, bro? Those demons are monitoring. There's group stalking inside of the liquor store. They're pacing in the parking lot right now. One walking from 8 U.S. and 224 toward California Clinic and Medical, and another demon walking in the opposite direction towards 4 SWC 983. These are hollow zombies. These are the living dead. These are the demon-possessed pacing around me in the parking lot. And while I'm inside of that Shiro's liquor, and he is trying to persuade me that I dropped less than the amount due for the merchandise that I wanted to buy. I know how much it is. I did not give you less than what is the total due. That's not the type of person that I am. I don't care if he does give an exception. I'm going to give him the amount that I know it's due. All right, he's stating that I didn't, and he didn't utter a word about it. He just took it because I'm so special. Now, first of all, I am special, but that's not what happened. And I'm special because he's monitoring. That's what's going on. And directed light is occurring while he's engaging in theft of my property. That's the fact, Pat. That's what's going on. I don't care if it's 15 cents. The state's not going to steal from you, steal anything from you while they're keeping you under surveillance. The state's going to watch its mouth. And what is the state? You're dealing with Satan. Satan's not going to steal from you. Satan's going to watch its mouth. Satan's not going to put their hands on you. All right. You're talking about what is touching you also with what is their demonic conduct in their demonic environment, which this demon that's stealing my property, stealing my money, and then trying to create another narrative as though I'm confused about it, is then engaging in what is the ongoing P.O.C. while demons are pacing in and out of his liquor store, which I'm going to shut down. All right. And he's the one that's from Syria. All right. So you're talking about after you go to federal prison, because he's been documented plenty of times monitoring with the Ontario Police Department. He's going to pay dearly for that. The Ontario Police Department under this fact pattern is a liability. You are automatically seen as what is guilty, in other words. But and that's just because of how heavily I've documented this entity. But under all circumstances, the entity is group stalking, period, with law enforcement. 7MXM432. And so this is why I'm taking pictures. You're looking at what is group stalking inside of the liquor store, surrounding me by the aisles, and the fake sun is directly over Shiro's Liquor. And I'll go ahead and capture an image of that, even though I've captured it for years. Fake sun over this same Shiro's Liquor in the afternoon. Fake sun setting inside of this Shiro's Liquor in the evening. Now, who do you think has the credibility and who do you think is lying? This is a minion. This is a demon that's lying, and you cannot confuse me. All right. And then in addition to that, you got directed light flashing all across your liquor, your merchandise in the store. 8WAH819. While another demon that's going to serve for your prosecution is arriving at your business to engage in that criminal activity. A hostile demon. That directed light is occurring after that demon hops in their vehicle, and they know that I read their license plate. And then let me be clear, while that directed light is occurring, while you're inside of your liquor store, that's why you're going to lose your liquor store. That's why you are going to federal prison. All right. And that third party, that's the conduct that results in time in a mental institution. They're psychopaths, unstable. Like this is, again, Shiro's Liquor inside of the B&G Plaza. It is currently 8:52 a.m. This is just the ordinary conduct. This is the ordinary psychopath level conduct of the unstable who are stalking, surrounded with evidence. Their whole criminal system is exposed. It's not a secret anymore. You hear the casual conversation of Tracy Banks while she's talking with her demon-possessed friend, Dan, and they're monitoring while I'm being molested in the car with directed light, just acting like it's not happening. You're in here stealing my property inside of your raggedy liquor store, and you thought that I wasn't paying attention about 15 cents, which it's not the point, it's the principle. And you're engaging in monitoring and directed light occurring inside of your liquor store, the fake sun over your liquor store, the Ontario International Airport flying over your liquor store, where the entity is keeping a property that belongs to me. And you also, as a psychopath, know that you're being documented. That's all to your own demise. All right. Alrighty. The entity engaging in what is harassment after theft of my property. Again, this Shiro's Liquor, this owner, he's captured in still images, group stalking with the people of the state. 6NPW544. License 6WDN231. They're all under the fake sun over the B&G Plaza. 8SYS838, 4NHR777, 06652B1, 8APD920, 7NDR809. Minions at Esther Beauty Salon. She likes to engage in surveillance and group stalking. Let's get this demon. That's P.O.C. She's engaging in surveillance, sitting in her vehicle until I start walking, and then they're closing their doors. This is audible activity by demons that are engaging in criminal monitoring. And 7NDR809. Esther's Beauty Salon is a facilitating venue. 7JTX501, 8WAH819. 9ALP257, 7VOS809, 7H74483. Alrighty, this is P.O.C. and 8USN224. This demon is, again, that third party as they're crossing path, they're touching me. That's a sex offender. That's a demon-possessed sex offender touching me with directed light. And that sex offender knows that they've been documented as a sex offender. They like to continue sexually violating you, molesting your person, violating your person while they know that they're being documented. All right, that level of sexual violence, that knowledge that you're maintaining, that mens rea, in other words, what you're cognizant of, a sex offender that knows that they've been caught. All right, you're not some anonymous sex offender. You're not you're not wearing any mask. It's not a mystery who you are with regard to violating someone, and then you continue to engage in that. That's speaking to the level of a threat that you pose to the public. Just want to be clear. And this is a population, a demon-possessed one engaging in that pattern of behavior while they place you under surveillance. 50033M3, Lee and Stiers Incorporated, 7YUR526, Lee and Stiers Incorporated, 7416681. This is P.O.C. 9AWC221, 8MAF571, 7JXT938. Ultra personnel monitoring. While that directed light is occurring inside of Shiro's Liquor, understand the P.O.C. itself is also facilitation. Light activity is facilitating demons in relevant position all surrounding you that are monitoring with communication devices as well. Understand that it's both. While a child is in the vehicle, 04814L3. BRBR4LF, 7MBC468, 12608X1, 7NEK126. M10986, 8ANW922, 5ZGB070, 35307Y2, HN455 handicap, 8WAB500, 42961J3, 7PYT802. Alrighty, and that's also, again, what happens after I leave a venue. Then suddenly the fake son leaves with me. That's Union Pacific engaging in the P.O.C. And that's demonic. You understand? You are witnessing the personality of Satan while you hear that amplified audible activity. It's demonic. In the same way you're witnessing it when you see directed light, it's demonic. But like I said, that fake son immediately moving from being over Shiro's liquor, which is the signature of the pattern of conduct of facilitating venue, i.e. a group stalker. Just like you saw at the Ovid Family Community Library, keeps it there all day long. The moment that I get in a vehicle and leave from 215 E.C. Street, all day long, that's when the fake son moves, and then is suddenly then present over the Ontario Mills, where I'm documenting my presence at Ontario Mills at 7:30 in the morning. 7:30 in the morning, but you've got the sun setting there after 7 p.m., which is what I captured. But what else do you see? The entity is molesting with directed light. This is what these demons engage in: a sex offender, an obsessed stalker, a terrorist, and also engaging in what is stalking with helicopter at the Ontario Mills. That's a massive property. And that's direct evidence. 8WPD 781 9865 983. That's quite a prosecution. And I mean every single last company, every aspect of presence, every type of presence. And type of presence, I'm referencing your company name. Everybody that's there operating business in relevant position. All right, because they use the presence of companies, stores, in other words. Every store that's present in relevant position represents the people of the state. There's a lot of businesses at Ontario Mills. It's the commercial stalking, all right? And so you're going to prosecute that. You don't have any right to be present, and this is what is so costly about group stalking. It's very, very expensive once you're caught engaged in the pattern of conduct, and you cannot quantify that. Civil prosecution is barely scratching the surface. You have no right to engage in what is violating the human rights of another. JMR419 on behalf of the state, all right? And doing so via a system that you intended to never be exposed. Surprise, surprise. 6FYZ871. And so that's what I documented yesterday. And pursuant to that same pattern, the moment that I walk away from Shiro's liquor, the fake sun moves as well, in alignment with me. Nowhere in conformity to being anywhere near Sam's Club gasoline, which is across the street from the Ontario Mills Mall at 7:30 in the morning. Let me be clear right now. It is 8:59 in the morning. And what is the entity doing day in and day out? When I'm sleeping outside at the museum, that fake sun is rising over that museum, going in whatever direction that I go. What's going on when I'm sleeping in a car on Fern Avenue and G Street at outside of 630 North Fern Avenue in Ontario? That fake sun's nowhere near some Sam's Club gasoline, while those demons were engaged in relevant positioning, as I documented every single last one of them. That's why I did that. All right, and that documentation is not lost. All right, and that was documentation of what is an entity that is continuously documented. Like I stated, they were engaged in the P.O.C. and they remain engaged in the P.O.C. and that's why I captured that impossible environment surrounding those demons. This is speaking to that pattern where the fake sun remains over me as I walk to the Ovid Family Community Library. License CJDEE 8UAE491 7ZXD590 8HWF923 3SWU609 7MXP852 6JPC599. While you hear sirens, you automatically go into what is the analysis of criminal summoning as you continue to hear me document. 6VNU790 8URR533 7PLN641. Under the fake sun and directed light while the entity is sounding sirens, this is federal presence criminal summoning. And that's exactly what 7PLN 641 is engaging in. Standing there staring at the sidewalk while the entity sounds sirens is equally criminal summoning. And it's a demon at that, doing that under the fake sun while the entity is creating audible activity. That audible activity communicates a threat. The state is always stalking you. They surround you with sirens at all times and like to do so while I was documenting. So all I've done is documented what's a well-established pattern and grounds of federal prison by the state acting with the people of the state. 8CNY140, 5WWM 494, 9APD 117, 8J55404. 8CKX 233, 5MPF 889, 8XNT 939, 6PDV 429, 1469611, that's City of Ontario, 7GQL 610, 6EJH 337, 4MTF 122, 8VDJ 811, 6EJH 337. And you can clearly see the fake sun over this minion that's engaged in surveillance in the parking lot, engaged in criminal summoning, surrounded with directed light. 6EJH337 is who's on that image you could see. 7YWC889 in operation of their communication devices. And these are these dirt old geezers, all right, knocking on the door of death, group stalking, serving Satan to the end, okay? And they will sit in federal prison with regard to my pool of documented minions who are engaging in a state system, which they don't have any right to. Do you think I care how old they are? Because I do not. 7HDH892, 6WUZ493, 5YXY911. And as a matter of justice, you're not going to be treated any differently under federal law when you're prosecuted as a demon-possessed group stalker, violating the rights of another, including those that like to put placards on the back of their car and stickers on the back of their car, talking about how they're Vietnam veterans. Engaging in demonic conduct, terrorism, violating constitutional human rights, absolutely un-American conduct. Those are the examples I like to highlight for you because you need to understand what our minions of Satan. 8BHL385, 7WIG756. It's P.O.C. The Ontario City Hall is monitoring. The Ontario Fire Department at 425 East B Street is monitoring. Metro 102 Apartments is monitoring. The Ontario Town Square Townhomes, they're monitoring. The fake sun remains over me as I have left Shiro's Liquor. It's directly over my head as I'm walking toward the Ovid Family Community Library. This is that specific environment that is following, speaking to a bunch of demons that are following. All right, and that's what this group stalking is about. Demons are following you. You are the leader, the targeted individual. They are inferior to you. And there's a reason why. And it is literally illustrated in their conduct. They're stalking. All right, inferiority. That stalking conduct is born out of inherent inferiority. But you're going to prosecute for that. It's a violation of human rights. Anyway, that's Union Pacific that's engaged in that. Union Pacific engaged in molestation. Union Pacific engaged in theft of property. Union Pacific engaged in group stalking. It's audible activity in directed light, and it's occurring under the guise of what is train activity, when in actuality, the reality is that you're not even going to hear that train, that volume, and the use of the sound of a train that occurs with simultaneity to what I'm saying. For example, when I am making a point that Satan doesn't want you to hear, that pattern, as I pointed it out to you, pay attention to it because it's not a distraction. That's Satan that doesn't like to hear as I speak the truth. All right? That's what the entity uses audible activity to do as well. That's prosecuted as what is harassment. Union Pacific is engaging in that, and even despite the fact that the reality is that you cannot hear the train, for example, outside of 630 North Front Avenue in Ontario, California, you're still going to prosecute Union Pacific because I happen to have documented the fact that Union Pacific is highly engaged in abuse of those train tracks that belong to Amtrak along what is that museum area, which runs east and west in Ontario. And that's only because I've documented it. All you would do is document the train tracks that are nearest you, and that would be belonging to Amtrak. You would prosecute Amtrak. You're not going to have to go on a hunt to prosecute them. They're going to be prosecuted regardless. But Union Pacific is the one that is engaging in heavily abusing those train tracks. And despite the fact that you cannot hear it, that's proof of, first of all, what is amplified audible activity, which is demonic. All right. You're also talking about what is the engagement in the elements of monitoring in that specific environment. So you are hearing it. This is not about some being able to defame a targeted individual and claiming that they're hallucinating. No, Satan is a liar, all right? And this is the purpose of documentation, for the world to witness how the entity seeks to defame and kidnap somebody that's subject to group stalking, all right? And this is, again, the hypocrisy of what's going on in the United States, terrorizing American citizens, violating their freedoms, where we're supposed to be, again, the world leader, all right, in the free world. That's what supposedly happened. This is contrary to the indirect conflict to that. But this audible activity is serving for what is a prosecution, whatever the guise of train. So whatever company, in other words, there's a train track near you. Okay, that's demonic activity that's occurring under the guise of whatever train track is near you, or of whatever train is supposedly heavily used, that's how you would document that. That's how you would prosecute that. But I happen to know, because I've heavily documented so much, it's going to be Union Pacific. They like to abuse that train track a lot, all right? Including in the way in which the entity is creating the sound of train activity around you under the fake sun, indirect light, with simultaneity to what it is that you're saying or doing, or on a communication device. That's occurring, in other words, in the specific environment. You're going to prosecute that. It's the elements of monitoring. It's an environment that they are creating, all right? And so this is occurring now. It's 9:06 a.m. and it's Friday, July 22nd, 2022. And the fake sun's right here over the, it's not over the over, it's over the side, just like I captured yesterday on my website, thepatternofconduct.wordpress.com. You will see during the 8 o'clock hour, I'm capturing the fake sun. I believe it is it's approximately 8:46 a.m. The fake sun, you're looking at the same exact address. You're looking at 215 East C Street while I'm on the side of the Over Family Community Library, the fake sun, at 10 o'clock in the morning as I walk to the entrance, which is, again, walking around to the front of the same building, the fake sun, directly over my head. As I walk out later in the afternoon at 1:33 p.m. over my head at the same exact address, 215 East C Street, the fake sun is over my head. As I walk out after 6 p.m. where this entity engaged in assault last night and attempted to steal my property, which I fully documented as I continuously remain to the P.O.C., subject to the P.O.C., and I go to Ontario Mills, that's the same entity, engaging in harassment, criminal defamation, threatening to engage in criminal summoning of that same police department that you see at Ontario Mills, stalking in a helicopter. That's who the demon-possessed threatened to summon on you. That's why they go to federal prison for that. That's also why that minion didn't want to repeat it when I started recording. And she was so hyped up to say, I'm going to call the police. For what? You're documenting. But go ahead and repeat that, Satan, because I want to document it. All right, but that's exactly what she said. And then her little punk boyfriend that's barely 5'5", getting in my face, trying to take my phone because you're terrified of what I'm documenting, and he's going to federal prison. By the way, while the same airport is flying over in relevant position, this psychopath first approaches with a smile on their face as though they're perplexed. Why did you take my picture? That's Satan that was monitoring then. And the reality is this hostile minion then shows their true colors, engaging in an assault, engaging in threatening to call the police, engaging in what is raising their voice, and engaging in what is attacking with name calling and whatnot, and then engaging in criminal defamation. All right, and that's the reality. This is what I'm saying. You're not subject to any less of a harassing threat while a demon is smiling in your face and monitoring you, versus a minion that is outright hostile and showing their disdain for you while they're stalking you, by the way, the fact that you're documenting it. Satan knows exactly why there are pictures being taken in direct light under the fake sun, because Satan's little operation is not a secret anymore, and Satan can't stand that. And guess whose problem that is? The criminal, the sex offender, the group stalker, not the targeted individuals. And you are going to document any methods of harassment. Smiling in your face, do not be deceived by that. That's harassment. The entity, the state, in other words, has no right to say anything to you while you document. Everything that they're saying is accomplishing monitoring, and it is a passive-aggressive method of harassment. This is a psychopath and unstable group stalking minion that follows you into bathrooms, that molests you in impossible methods with directed light, while they are entirely focused on you. Everything that you're saying, down to your bodily functions, Satan is paying very close attention to you, which is terrorism. It's sick. It's very sick. All right. And so this is that entity that's engaging in that. And that's what I captured in still images, that fake sun that's over the Over Family Community Library for the duration of the day, including my exit after 6 p.m. And then, again, as I leave Shiro's Liquor, the fake sun leaves as well. It's over the side of the Over Family Community Library. The sun's not remaining in some ubiquitous presence over everything, over the center of my head, everywhere, at every address at the same time. No, that's not what's happening. In other words, there is no point in the day when the sun is directly over the roof of the Upland Public Library. Because this environment that we live in, that we're surrounded by, does not operate in the way that we've been lied to about. That's why you're looking in the sky space above you in, let's say, Texas, and you're looking at what's supposedly the sun, as you would in your ignorance identify, because that's what you've been told, that's what you've been taught. You're just repeating lies that you've been told, and you were lied to for a reason. All right. And so this is the reality of what is a demonic environment, demonic activity, and a demonic environment, let me be clear, is not to be mistaken with what you may opine as something that's beautiful. The beautiful sunset, the beautiful sunrise, or the beautiful colors in the sky does not take away from the fact that it is a demonic environment. I just want to point that out to you. Some of the most gorgeous men or women, by the way, okay, infected with demon possession. Do not be deceived. That's not how you are discerning or identifying what's demonic. I just want to point that out to you. It is indeed a demonic environment. It is indeed contrary to the ways in which we have been told that this environment operates. And that's how you have what is in a whole other state where it's, again, for example, it's 9:10 a.m. So 12:10 p.m. in Florida, that's not the sun over them anywhere in the state of Florida. Anywhere. While it's remaining at one address as my documentation, Erica Lorraine Spencer, at 215 East C Street in Ontario, California. And why is that? Why is that irreconcilable, insurmountable evidence that's relevant to every single last person in the world? Because there's only one sun. So we have been told. All right. And everything that's occurring under this fake sun, everything that's occurring with regard to everything else that's relevant to this pattern of conduct, the phenomenon of directed light is directly relevant to what is a criminal system. All right, so this is teaching you not only about demonic activity, it's teaching you about what is criminal conduct by a government, whatever, wherever it is that you're at. But I'm in the U.S. The U.S. is placing American citizens under surveillance. And they want it to appear as though people are crazy and paranoid claiming this. But even though the target individual ordinarily doesn't know that they're subject to surveillance. They don't know that. All they know that is that ordinarily, okay, I'm not going to speak on everyone. I don't know what everyone knows. But I know what you are most likely focusing on the fact that people are following you around. You can sense that in your gut, even though you might not be able to prove it. And you are immediately written off as, and the entity exerts a deliberate effort to defame you, to render your allegations, or in this case, a documentation, as illegitimate. That's the pattern of conduct in the U.S., and it's terrorism. All right. And so the entity is engaging in this, and you are learning about what is a matter of fact for you now, that which is undeniable. And it's properly referred to as what is spiritual darkness, demonic conduct. You were lied to about the way this environment operates for a very specific reason. And moreover, the entity is engaging in what is not only monitoring those who are not subject to this spiritual darkness, because this is about spiritual darkness, the demon possessed, those that are infected with a spiritual darkness. Those are the ones that are following around those who walk in the light. Those are the ones that are being targeted because you are special. All right. Like that demon inside of the liquor store conceded today. Yeah, I am special. That's why your group's stalking. That's why you're monitoring me. All right. But I'm also paying attention to what you're doing with my money, and don't get it. Well, I don't want to say that. Do not be confused. Okay, so this is a third party that I documented. Oh, you're confused about what's going on. So I'm not. I'm going to document that because you represent the state and you're stealing my money. It does not matter how much it is. They represent the state, the government, having no right to touch you, having no right to stalk you, having no right to put you under surveillance, having no right to be present inside of a bathroom. You're stalking in a bathroom. You're sick. And you're always touching while you're stalking. Demonic. And that's not impervious to being identified, captured as a matter of objective evidence, prosecuted in the federal tribunal. You're not in any way avoiding it. And you're a whole psychopath continuing it while you've been caught. Your secret is out. You're not engaging in any sort of secret system anymore at all, which is revealing further to the world how much of a threat you are. Okay? Your obsession that you sought to conceal from the beginning. Now your obsession is shown in plain sight. Everybody could witness it. Oh yeah, you're an obsessed stalker. All right. You won't quit even when you're surrounded with evidence. And that's the reality of what's going on with those who are in spiritual darkness, stalking those who are not subject to that condition. That's the difference between them. All right. We're not separated. Like I stated before, we're not separated. We being humanity, we're not separated by race. The physical things that the people want to separate you by, distract you with, race, your economic status, your political party, whatever country that you might be from. These are not the things that separate us. These are inconsequential. We are spiritual beings, and the things that separate us is who you are at your core. And that spiritual condition is that which human beings seek to conceal. It's necessary for such a time as this that the whole world know, that you be able to know by yourself. You have the evidence on the outside. In other words, Satan can't hide from you anymore, and you know exactly what they are. What they are, who am I referencing? I'm speaking to those who walk in spiritual darkness, because with regard to the P.O.C, those walking in spiritual darkness are engaging in criminal conduct. And not only are you aware of what are the secrets of Satan, or you can refer to it in general if you don't want to reference a name, if you're not familiar with the term Satan or whatever. This is darkness. This is spiritual darkness. If this is not capable of being concealed anymore, you're capable of knowing that, and you're also capable of knowing what's the criminal conduct of those that are stalking you in that specific environment. All right. And it is, all of that is shown as a matter of objective evidence, which no demon, no scientist, no religious teacher can in any way address. You can't reconcile it. There's nothing you can say. In other words, you're going to be silent because I'm telling you the truth. All right. It is currently 9:15 a.m. This is P.O.C. The fake sun is over the side of the Ovid Family Community Library. I'm going to go ahead and capture an image of this. This is P.O.C. It is 10:01 a.m. And what I captured in still images is the demonic pacing that is underway via the Ontario International Airport. And what you'll see in the image is Southwest Airlines that's hovering over the senior citizen apartments, the 280 North Limit Apartments. It's called the Ontario Senior Housing Parter. It's a 55-plus community, and the fake sun is directly over me on the side of the Ovid Family Community Library. This is indicative of what the entity is repeatedly engaged in as I remain outside on the side of that library. And this is pacing, audible activity, and relevant positioning. This is group stalking via the sky space. The entity is repeatedly engaging in this conduct. And you have, hi, Natasha. And that's Yesenia, right? Okay. They are in relevant position inside of the library, and they are pacing, as I can see through the windows on the inside of the library. This is demonic pacing. Minions are pacing, walking on the sidewalk. This is the entity that's group stalking all around you. This is terrorism while a bunch of demons engage in that conduct. And this is a demon-possessed population that also knows that it's being documented. That's legally relevant as well. And they are doing so as I capture that image of what the airport is repeatedly engaging in. I'm pointing that out because this is what the entity is repeatedly engaging in as I remain outside on the side of the library. In addition to that, you're understanding while I'm capturing demonic activity, criminal monitoring, group stalking inside the venue, that is what's going on outside. The entity is maintaining ongoing group stalking conduct outside of the venue. The fake sun remains over the library. Okay, and that's because I'm at the library. If I were to walk and go to Stater Brothers, the fake sun remain over Stater Brothers all day long. Okay, you fill in the blank with whatever venue. This is a state system. So the entity is keeping the fake sun over the library all day long. And as I'm capturing what is group stalking inside, while a bunch of demons are engaging in harassment all day long, stalking with noise activity, engaging in what is pacing all around. They have multiple shadows. They're sitting in directed light at work. They're sitting in directed light, sitting at the computers. They're sitting in directed light, asking questions. They're sitting in directed light while they are walking through the venue, monitoring me. Everything that they're doing is about me, all right? This is group stalking conduct. It's demonic activity. And you're understanding what's going on outside. This is what the entity is doing on a ceaseless basis, and they're acting in concert. So while they're engaged in what is surveillance, that's what that is legally defined as. The people of the state are engaged in surveillance at a facilitating venue, which is Ovid Family Community Library. And the entity is engaged in ongoing obsessive patrolling, which is demonic conduct using commercial airline planes flying over and around the venue all day long in that specific environment. So I just want to be clear. You're understanding what is going on all around while capturing group stalking inside of the venue. All right. It is currently 10:04 a.m. and this is again 215 East C Street, the Ovid Family Community Library. This is an establishment engaging in what is criminal conduct on behalf of the state. The Ovid Family Community Library is a group stalker, not operating any legitimate business under the law. They're engaging in what shall be recognized under federal law. You are in the shoes of the state. You're facilitating a system of state surveillance and terrorism, and you're going to be prosecuted for that. And you don't have a right to exist any further, especially after civil and criminal prosecution. And it is no sense of anonymity hiding behind a business name or a company name or some municipality. You will find yourself in federal prison while that federal prosecution dwindles down to what are individual names who will serve time in federal prison for that. So anyway, I just want to point this out. This is reflected in the images that I captured. The entity is repeatedly flying planes over and over, amplified audible activity, doing so while that fake sun remains over my head. This is the same fake sun that's remaining hours later. As I captured yesterday at 1:33 p.m., that fake sun didn't go anywhere. 6 p.m., I'm showing you what is, and I'm referencing yesterday, which is the pattern of conduct. I've documented this over and over again. The fake sun remains as I am at the same address after 6 p.m., after 7 p.m., and the entity is stalking in that environment. All right, so again, it is currently 10:05 a.m. This is P.O.C. Alrighty, capturing what is, again, this is the company Securitas, representing the people of the state, a third-party company, engaging with group stalking via the demon-possessed third party, the African-American female, heavily documented, engaging in what is harassment at Ovid Family Community Library. I mean, specifically, like, following me into bathrooms, following me outside, aiming her phone at me when I'm outside, waging false allegations, etc. I've documented this on video and in still images. This is the third party. Her name is Sharon. She's literally engaged in surveillance in a bathroom. So she is maintaining presence in the bathroom, which is what demons do in the event that I walk into the bathroom. So this is just remaining in the bathroom, okay, and doing so in the event that I get up to go there. And in addition to that, even if I hadn't, she's engaged in surveillance in the bathroom in alignment to where I'm seated in the library. So I'm seated in what's supposed to be the quiet area where these demons are engaging in ongoing booming and banging. And this is why it's harassment. The other day when you're hearing Brenda ask me to be quiet while they're all listening to me expose them as I'm documenting them, these are the demons that are engaging in stalking with noise on an ongoing basis, molesting me with directed light while they're pacing all around me like psychopaths, and then asking me to be quiet. That's how Satan is harassing you, by the way. And that's what I'm referencing. So in the quiet area down here, this loud boom and bang. And this is why I'm listening on my headphones. I'm like listening to stuff, and it's that loud. But this is where I'm seated at, and the entity is engaging in surveillance, and this is via Sharon. She's a very violent sex offender. She is also seen in what is directed light. So kind of pay attention. I took images while I am seated outside waiting for this demon to, because she's monitoring even while I'm outside of the bathroom. And this is also understanding what's a sicko, okay? You're stalking, you're monitoring somebody by going into a bathroom. So you're just looking at all the desperate and demented things that Satan does. Satan will go into a bathroom to monitor and stalk somebody else. That's very, very weird. And that's exactly what demons are doing. They take turns pacing in and out of bathrooms all day. It's not nature calling. They're demons that are pacing around. They're just going into a different room inside of a building. It's about relevant positioning. And maintaining presence inside of a bathroom stall, going in and out of the bathroom is a means of pacing all around. And this minion, relevant to where I'm seated in the library, is engaging in surveillance by maintaining prolonged presence inside of the bathroom. I did happen to get up and walk into the restroom where she is present in relevant position, and she is engaging in demonic activity in a demonic environment, by the way, but she's engaging in that demonic behavior while her communication device sounds with simultaneity to my operation of my phone. Again, this is a demon that's group stalking in a bathroom stall. Okay, you're already pathetic at the outset, but in addition to that, the ongoing evidence of this demon's criminal activity is the uncanny ability to sound. It's like a motion detector. The phone goes off at the same time that I make a move while you are also in what is a bathroom stalking, okay? In a very specific environment, which you have no legal argument for. You can't explain why the sun is remaining over this address, 215 VC Street, all day, rising and setting. And while you are caught in a bathroom, that's a prosecution for federal stalking by the state and terrorism in a bathroom, violent sex offense. And so this is also an ongoing repeat offender who is also engaging in what is harassment while she is stalking me in a bathroom. And that's just the audacity of that psychopath that is engaging in that criminal conduct. This is documentation of what is not only Ovid Family Community Library, all right, the people of the state and a facilitating venue. This is third-party Securitas. She's engaging in this harassment. She's engaging in what is stalking, monitoring with communication device on behalf of the state, all right, and doing so while fully cognizant of the fact that you're being documented, all right, in doing so while in the name of Securitas, all right? So, and that's a prosecution, civil and criminal. And this is all the ways in which you are going to penalize a government and the people of the state for violating your constitutional human rights, all right? So I just want to document that. That is the entity stalking in the bathroom. This is federal stalking by entity in the bathroom. That's harassment and terrorism by an entity, and doing so in what is the private space. And I also want to document what you're going to pay attention to is she's pacing in and out of the bathroom. You'll see the images. She's walking out. Then she walks around to another doorway. Then she walks back toward the bathroom doorway just to walk in and out again. This is a demon that's pacing. All right. And she's doing so. Pay attention to the pictures that I took. You can see the chair, the upright seat of the chair. You're going to pay attention to the shadow of that chair, which is crooked. It's absolutely impossible light activity. It is direct evidence of what is Satan that is in your face, calling you names. Satan will call you Satan, by the way. Satan will call you the devil. I'm laughing because Satan is pathetic. But this is the reality, and she's engaging with his harassment while she knows I've exposed her true condition to the world. These are demons, and this is the harassment that she's engaging in. But how are you going to break this down as far as the elements are concerned? She's creating audible activity. She's engaging in terrorism while she's pacing around, doing so, engaging in stalking in and around a bathroom. meaning that's engaging in what is an impermissible threat, ceaselessly engaged in that criminal conduct, and the very evidence of the light activity where she's doing it is the pattern of conduct that's underway, and she is wearing a uniform while doing so. You're going to prosecute that company that she is working on whose behalf she's working. So you can see that. I want you to pay attention to that light activity, and that's why I captured it. And then you see that demon walk out of the bathroom. You see her walk back into the bathroom and walk back out. She's pacing. Okay. Anyway, it is 4:53 p.m. This is P.O.C. BE1SBOL, criminal summoning. Engaged in ongoing loitering in relevant position, group stalking, and harassing, monitoring with the Ontario Police Department, who remains in relevant position as the multiple images that I captured reflect, and engaging while the Ontario International Airport, which you'll also see in those images, engaged in ongoing patrolling, flying over where the police are present, creating light activity, stalking in relevant position, doing so in plain sight with the people of the state. There is no name of any event where anything other than the pattern of conduct is going to be prosecuted as anything other than the pattern of conduct. The pattern of conduct is occurring during what is a family night event at Ontario Town Square. Fake sun, directed light, amplified audible activity, demonic patrolling via commercial airline planes, the Ontario Police Department group stalking using police vehicles as light activity in that environment. That's the P.O.C. 7WIG 756 8BHL 385. And the parking lot that I stand in, the parking lot of 280 North Lemon Apartments, I have 3 shadows. This is impossible light activity where demons are patrolling with commercial airline planes using police vehicle lights. And what is the significance of that? It's called light activity. Engaging in surveillance in relevant position. These are demons just sitting around in the parking lot, driving around the parking lot. They're group stalking, they're monitoring, they're patrolling. It's pacing. It's what demons are doing. 6EGV957, sitting in their vehicle, operational communication devices, doing so with the police. You go to federal prison. That's 168R43, Nevada. It's a white boy and female driving. 8VQC069, 6SWS894, 7VFD684. And I exited over the Family Community Library at 6 p.m. I'm showing you what's the fake sun, and the Ontario International Airport has been it's currently, again, 8:51 p.m. The Ontario International Airport has been engaged in an ongoing use of airplanes flying over that senior citizen apartment complex. This is what they've been doing the whole time while I've been sitting on the side, keeping the fake sun, keeping directed light. 8A7TA, 7VFD684, 8PTV942. 5MBN577, 8BSL405, 8PUR716, LIZJELI 7MPL725. And these demons just sit in the parking lot. And the people of the state, you're talking about what's a state system. So you have people that just drive around. They just engage in what is ongoing. And these are people that are you're talking about what's satanic conduct amongst people. But all they're doing is maintaining presence around me. So I'm on the side of the library. And you're talking about just driving into the parking lot. And this is just one position. You're talking about being present at the Ontario Town Square in the parking garage. Those demons are just sitting in there, monitoring with phones, group stalking, just ongoing surveillance, and doing it outright with the police. You can call that family night all you want. I'm going to prosecute you for the demon-possessed group stalker that you are, engaging in surveillance with the police, results of federal prison. All right? And that's what they're doing, sitting around in the parking lot, monitoring. All I'm doing is walking around getting more license plates. 8LRD600, 7GRP767, 7PLN641. And the images, as you see, the Ontario International Airport is evidence against the people of the state. They're all monitoring to that activity creation while that ongoing harassing conduct while a demon is flying commercial airline planes repeatedly next to me under what is a fake sun. 6VNP061, these demons are sitting around monitoring with communication devices. 8VPD021, 8BJT886, 8X, 8R835, 5UBC074, 6NGK659, 74997J1. 8BQP806, 7J93174, 8GVT449. Yeah, I read that Minion's license plate. 5URCO7. Yeah, I read that one. You should see these dirt old minions. They're old as dirt, okay? Kneeling over with walkers, engaging in demonic conduct, sitting around stalking, standing in directed light. It's sad. I mean, it doesn't matter what age you are. I mean, being of service, being, bent over backwards, because that's literally it's a spiritual handicap. It's literally like a spiritual disease. These people are sick, all right? And this is something that medication can't cure, demon possession. There we go. All right, I just want to make sure I can show you what this is. Operation of communication device, dirt old, Spanish speaking. It doesn't matter what your culture is. All right, it doesn't matter what your age is. They're monitoring. All right, and they're doing so in that specific environment. And by the way, but this is what is relevant, because 8A7TA, I believe this is this minion's license plate. This is where they're standing in relevant position. If they're not natural born citizens, you ship them out of the country. You deport them. And they're doing so with the entity that's flashing their headlights. That's called light activity. All right. And standing in relevant position, monitoring with the people of the state, honking their horns, which is harassment. Hi.
Hi, how are you?
Oh, you do speak English. How are you?
Oh, fine, thank you.
Oh, that's good.
Okay.
Anything else you want to say? You're staring.
Yeah.
Okay, I just want to make sure I confirm her license, 8A7TA. She's monitoring with the demon that's honking their horn. This is harassment by demons that are monitoring and know you're being documented. All right, and you're doing so while you are doing so with the police. It does not matter that she has a turkey neck. It does not matter that she's wearing Coke bottle glasses. It does not matter that she has a humpback. She will sit in federal prison like every other criminal. Okay, you're not respecting age, and that's not how the law works. Period. Under any circumstances. But I want to be clear, the one with the Nevada license plates, they're sitting in their vehicle monitoring. The other demons sitting in the parking lot, and these are, again, the minions that have been engaged in surveillance while the entity is stalking by commercial airline planes and stalking with the Ontario Police Department. And Omni Access is group stalking as well. This is relevant positioning, and Omnitrans is arriving, hold on, at what is 8:56 p.m. Omni Access is license plate. Let me go get this one. Omnitrans is doing nothing other than creating light activity. This is a business that has no intention of remaining in existence after I prosecute them. This is impunity. Omnitrans knows that they're being documented. They engage in things such as putting up fake employee numbers, speaking to and stealing my property and then lying about it. 1538476. This is facilitation by a company, Omni Access. They're engaging in criminal monitoring. The driver is documented with images. You can clearly see his face. He's creating light activity. Oh, let me show you this too. And you can see what is directed light on the asphalt. That's not headlights. And he is creating light activity. He's doing so engaging in harassment and terrorism with those Spanish-speaking minions who are in operation of a communication device, monitoring group stalking in my face with impunity, while they are, another one is engaging in what is this, sounding their horn. There's nothing going on. That demon just started sounding their horn. It's audible activity. And then Omni Access pulls up to create light activity. Monitoring with the same demons who I documented the other day, that the minion stating her name was Allison. She's engaging in what is harassment while the fake sun is over me in this parking lot. And then they're waging false allegations that I was hitting the City of Ontario vehicle while the same entity is stalking by commercial airline plane under the fake sun, right? This same venue where a bunch of demon-possessed elderly people are engaging in group stalking. This is where Omni Access is pulling up to create light activity at 9 o'clock at night in directed light, doing so with the Ontario Police Department. That driver of that vehicle, under this evidence, that works to place that third party in federal prison. You're also talking about civil and criminal prosecution. All right, you're engaging in that criminal conduct, surveillance, and terrorism, which the government doesn't have the right to do directly, and the people of the state don't have the right to do vicariously. You're talking about civil and criminal prosecution. And again, Omnitrans in particular, a very heavily documented company engaging in no legitimate business whatsoever. They have been captured as a matter of what is irreconcilable facts. They're not operating any legitimate business at any time of the day and under any circumstances. They are engaging in state surveillance and terrorism, and they do so while they know that they're being documented. And when the entity engages in this conduct, all right, you're talking about what is I will give you an example. After example. But I will give you an example. For example, this is a concession. When you know, for example, I'm speaking about the entity is stalking me day and night by helicopter, the Ontario Police Department. It's not a coincidence when about 2.5 minutes later, the entity repeats that act of flying over me by helicopter. And I'm showing you the same exact pattern of conduct. It's not a coincidence when I am speaking about it. And then this is Satan, and this is what I mean. That's the personality of Satan. But you know what? As psychotic as that is, it's evidence not only for you to familiarize yourself with what is the psychopath that are the demon possessed and the personality of Satan and how evil operates, but it's also for your information. It's very helpful with regard to a prosecution. I mean, it doesn't get any better with regard to accumulation of evidence, because it's not possible that you're you can't force somebody stalking you with a helicopter to engage in that conduct, and that's not a coincidence, all right? It's also not a coincidence. There she is. It's also not a coincidence amongst a body of evidence showing that ongoing pattern. I want to get these minions these license plates. 1591659 Ontario Police, 1589378 Ontario Police. Pickup truck 1521, 1591659 is vehicle 1021, 1582626 vehicle 1897, and they're all standing around in directed light, creating light activity. Monitoring with the Ontario International Airport, frequently patrolling all day long. I showed you that this morning, but I'm just referencing since I exited the library at 6 p.m. Just one plane after another, group stalking with the Ontario Police Department. All right, and it is currently 9 p.m. E367WL, this is criminal summoning. 6FHW468, criminal summoning. 6WNR296. 7AEH754. You're also documenting what you witnessed. Run the tape back, because that white boy that was sitting in that vehicle on the passenger side with the Nevada license plate, that was harassment. 8MKW890. I just did not acknowledge that demon, but he's engaging what is harassment, speaking to me when we have nothing to talk about. My walking by your vehicle and talking on my phone when you're supposedly not a group stalker is nothing that should be of any concern to you. The reason why that demon is speaking is the same thing like this entity engaged in yesterday, harassment. All right, while you are hostile, monitoring. License plate. And anything you're saying to me is harassment. 6WNR296. Also, you can give an argument for both sides, because the entity that's engaged in what is repeated acts of kidnapping, criminal summoning, criminal defamation, assertion of false allegations, harassment, and unfounded hostility, that is inherently harassing and terrorizing when you remain subject to that P.O.C. and then a third party that you're documenting wants to speak to you based on what is a pattern of that sort of conduct. So just so you can understand both sides of that argument. But that is harassment, which you heard. He was in the background while I went to document Omni Access, and he's yelling. He gets out of his vehicle. He's yelling. I did not address it because I was documenting Omnitrans, because I'm going to remove that business from existence. I'm going to prosecute them. But he was talking to me in the background. That's a threat. All right. And you're not analyzing a threat. You're not assessing a threat based on the fact that I'm not personally scared of it. You're talking about what's reasonable. You're talking about analyzing that threat based on the actor. That's the state that's getting out of the car, that's stalking you, monitoring, using planes and police officers and helicopters to stalk you. This is a vicarious actor. That's how you're analyzing that threat. Getting out of your vehicle when you know that you're monitoring, you know that you're being documented, engaging in that conduct, and having engaged in an ongoing pattern of abuse of the law, assertion of false allegations, etc. Like I've stated, this is harassment that's underway. It's not based on the fact that I am exposing a system and I am revealing the fact that it's demonic at its core. I am not personally scared of some white boy that's stalking me in a dark parking lot. That's not how you're analyzing a threat. And you are no less of a target individual. And by the way, let me remind you again, it's going to take somebody in order to expose the system. So I just want to point that out. But anyway, yeah, that's a terrorizing threat, and that's exactly what was going on. You can run the tape back and you'll hear him yelling in the background. And this is while I'm approaching Omnitrans. That's the entity engaging in what is harassment while you're stalking with the police. All right. And he's mad because he heard me say, while he's monitoring me, he heard me say he's going to federal prison, and he is. He's going to federal prison. All right. It is currently 9:03 p.m. This is P.O.C. 6TJY829, 6YGU960, 9ASD082, W6109 handicap, 8MNZ806, I believe. The Ontario International Airport flying over Fern Avenue now and molesting with that third-party license plate, 8SKF684. This is 7-Eleven that's also engaged in that sex offense. These are minions group stalking. After I get out of Tracy Banks' car, who was a third party, the entirety of an entity is following me while I'm in her vehicle. And it is currently 9:06 p.m. All right, molesting GF770 handicap, CD09W58, paper. And these demons are in the 7-Eleven surrounding me at the register. The one that you can see, the female with the bun with the black hair, and the Latino male with no shoes on and the black cap. I did references to surveillance cameras. This is 7-Eleven at 636 North Vine Avenue. These demons are huddling next to me. I had to ask him on more than one occasion to back up. I want to be clear. Not only is it, this is the P.O.C. and his is the license plate with the paper plate. But this is that's obsessive stalking. It's not the ignorance with regard to personal space. They're group stalking, and that's how much of a hovering minion that is. This is harassment, and it's again the ways in which you can prosecute this because it's occurring at a public establishment. You can prosecute 7-Eleven for that. All right, this is just another raggedy establishment that's not even going to make it after that prosecution. All right, engaging in what is monitoring with the police, with the airport. All right, and with a bunch of demons that are literally huddling around me at the register. And these are the demons. This is how sick they are. I want to be clear. That same huddling, stalking, this is what they do in bathrooms. I just want to point that out. That is that same obsessive stalking. Anyway, it is currently 9:10 p.m. This is P.O.C. All of those third parties inside of 7-Eleven are captured in images. Here's the Ontario police flying right over me in the car. They've been doing this repeatedly. They're arrogant. They're monitoring what I'm looking at on the internet. The Ontario Police Department, they're a bunch of demons that are fearful of what it is that I am looking at or publishing or reviewing online, and they engage in this as a method of harassment to the degree to where I'm going to prosecute them with this evidence. But this is the entity that is monitoring in real time what I'm doing online. Stalking in the specific environment, directed light, amplified audible activity, the demon-possessed stalking on the street, that's amplified audible activity. That's impunity. Every third party that I documented engaged in this P.O.C. Like I said, the white boy sitting in the vehicle with the Nevada plate, he's going to federal prison. This is the pattern of conduct that they're engaging in. The entity is aiming direct light across this white fence into the car as well, and stalking with that Ontario Police Department that's monitoring in real time what I'm doing online and amplifying helicopter activity while stalking and flying over me. This is harassment and terrorism while they want to be a distraction as they know what I'm looking at online, something that they don't want me to focus on. I'm not going to go into what I'm looking at right now, but the entity is aware of what it is that I'm reviewing on the internet. All right, and this is the same demon-possessed Ontario Police Department that are group stalking at family night at the Ontario Town Square. All right, this is P.O.C. It is currently 10:33 p.m. 5 JCP 901. And my shadow is appearing out on a distance at the wall, multiple shadows. You probably can't see it, it's dark, but my shadow is appearing over here on this white fence, and my shadow is right here on the ground as well. That's impossible light activity. It's the same demon possession, and this is, again, a police department that shall no longer exist. You are necessarily, as a matter of justice, disbanding such law enforcement agencies engaging in federal group stalking and monitoring with the people of the state. Alrighty, P.O.C.